want to read this to you since a lot of you might have missed it on your nighttime reading. You know, if I ever wake up in the middle of the night, does anybody wake up in the middle of the night at 3 o'clock in the morning? You can't get to sleep because you're stressed out? Well, just pick up the BRPA and start reading that word for word. So in 2017, the Bureau of Real Estate, which previously switched the previous year from a Department of Real Estate to Bureau, you know what that means and why?
It means they're not their own entity, they're within another part of it.
They're a bureau, and they're no longer funded by the state. They're self-funded by your wonderful fees you pay to get your license, and the tests you take, and the tests you retake, because maybe you didn't pass the first time, and the tests you retake the third time because you missed the first two, and so on and so forth. And then, of course, with fines. So my goal is to keep you guys from being fined. So I'll read this to you. The cite and fine statute contained within the Business and Professions Code 10080.9 is a little more than a year old. The intent, and I'm on from the real estate files page in case you're wanting at the very bottom. The intent behind the statute was to allow the BRE to discourage questionable conduct that may not warrant a formal disciplinary action. According to the BRE, the most issued fines fall into these categories. Number one, mortgage brokers not filing required quarterly reports. Well, that doesn't concern you, but number two does. Advertising violations. We'll talk a little bit about what you're probably doing on social media that could be an advertising violation, because in 2018 they're going to ramp it up even more. Brokers and agents not updating licensing and personal information with the Bureau in a timely manner. What does that mean? If you move, change your address, or whatever, do you always go onto the bre.ca.gov and update that?
Even your personal address, your home address?
Your personal home address? They need someplace to contact you, find you. In the middle of the night, they do realtor raids. Right? Yeah. And then minor trust fund shortages, which of course we don't have a trust log here because we don't want one nickel missing in that trust log. We could be shut down. This is something that might shock you. The maximum fine allowable by statute. Can everybody see that? What is it? $2,500. Who has $2,500 in their pocket they have right now they'd like to give me? The reported average, though, is only $1,200. So you save $1,300. Are you glad you came today? Who would want to be fined $1,200 today because you did something wrong in social media? And this is what I found out. So you all know, or maybe you don't know, I'm on the risk management committee with SCAR, and it's all the bigger offices in San Diego. Most of the brokers for those offices come and attend once a month, and we get together and talk about you guys. How to keep you guys out of court, what people do, what other offices do to minimize risk for you guys. We also had visited last week, or last meeting, the Bureau of Real Estate liaison. And this is what she said to us. They are beefing up looking at social media posts and finding real estate agents. So we're going to run through some visual examples of what would be some good ones and bad ones today, because I don't want you guys getting a $1,200 to $2,500 fine just because you want to market and advertise your business, which I and you post the pictures on the social webs, the internets. Okay? So I pulled some, and I just kind of went randomly, and I picked some here from the office and some not with our office. So Barrow Gutierrez Realty Group, Richard and Mike aren't here. What's missing from this post? Now, knowing that you need to identify yourself as a real estate agent, you need to identify the brokerage, and you need to identify your BRE number. I think I just gave you the answer. I'd rather be safe than sorry. If I have to put it on every post so that they can't say, oops, it went out there someplace, and it's not on there. So, we'll get to that. We'll get to that, how that needs to be. There's some specific rules right now, but they are changing in 2018. So, if you post something like this, it's best to have your broker identified, which is who? Keller Williams, San Diego Metro. And even though it says, the code says you do not have to put the broker number, start putting it on there. Because it changes in 2018. I'd rather have you be safe than sorry. Then you need to identify your own personal number. Your BRE number on there. Okay? So keep going. Now this guy's really good with his hashtags, right? Spends a lot of time doing hashtags, but he's missing one thing. Missing several things. What's he missing? Everything. Okay? Keep going. Here's a recommendation. If you have pictures that you're posting on the internets, why don't you go ahead and put your BRE number and your name and your contact number on your photos. Because guess what happens? If anybody bothers taking them, or even on other applications, they're going to know who it is and they're going to have a contact number for you. So you might want to consider doing that. Keep going. Same thing. Oh, wait a minute, so can you see this one? No? Okay. All right. Same thing, no listing, half the sign, but not good enough. Anybody know Christopher Chu? Christoph Chu, he's a big agent in LA. Yeah. So he's missing out on it too. He's got his broker identified somehow. Yeah, a little bit. But I would take it one step further. Now I picked one of our competitors that did it absolutely right. And I don't want to put him up here, but I'm going to. This one actually is probably 99% right. She has her broker identified. She has the BRE number listed down here below. And she has her listed over there. So make yourself a template with your pictures. And just plug in that pictures into your social media posts.
What's the 1% wrong? What's the 1% wrong?
She's not with Keller Williams.
Yeah. She's not. All right, keep going. Now, here's somebody that did it right. Because they got fined. He's a friend of mine. It only took him $1,200.
Oh.
And now he's learning to do it the right way. He's got his name, got his company name, he's got his broker listed, and he's got his BRE number. Now he doesn't have the broker BRE number. I would take that one step further and just add that. In 2018 it changes a little bit. And then go down one more.
Why did he get fined?
He didn't get fined on that.
No, I got fined earlier.
It's just me.
Pretty picture, right, for a main picture? That one has nothing identified. Not even who the person is. Keep going. Okay.
So could it be that a lot of these listings aren't in fact their listings, they're just trying to advertise it on their Facebook page? Do you think that's the reason why they're kind of...
Well, even so, then you need to identify who the broker is, or broker listing courtesy of that broker. Because the rules regarding the Santa Court is that you can't advertise a listing unless you get written permission from that broker. So get it in writing to say, yeah, I allow you to market and advertise my picture, or my listings on social media, or Craigslist or whatever.
So I went into an open house over the weekend. It was fantastic. I had a great time, and I wanted to tell just, oh my gosh, this is such a cute house. I still have to do all this to get permission to say I was at this house. I'm not advertising it. So I know a lot of us will do that. We're like, oh my God, this was the cutest little house we went through today, and we'll just talk about it like we're talking about what we had for dinner last night. we need to go through this whole entire process.
It's a prickly path. Do I have the right answers on it? No. Is the BRE clear on it? No. They're not. And we wish they were, because we discussed this exact issue. At what level do we need to say, there was a guy that came in and did the social agent,
Tony Giardino.
Tony Giardino, where he came in and he talks about what he does. And he'll go out on Caravan and he'll take a picture of the house and he'll say something like, on Caravan, touring homes. Hope the buyer loves it. He's very careful about his words. He doesn't say it's his listing. Doesn't say whose it is. He's just saying, giving the impression that he has a buyer that is possibly looking at the house. Is he advertising the house, or is he advertising they're looking at a house that his buyer might be looking at? So, nonetheless, if it's a social media post that you're promoting your business, you should at least have your BRE number and identifying broker on there to be safe.
Two parts. First one is, if your BRE number, the Metro's BRE number, is listed at the top of the page, do you have to list it for each individual post because it's overarching on the page?
Is it a individual post, or?
Well, your page is a page, so you have your business page and you have your BRE number and the Metro BRE number on the page itself, and somebody goes to your page and sees all of your posts, you have to do it for each.
Good question. For this purpose, if it's an individual post, what could happen to that post once you put it on there?
It's shared.
I understand
And so now it's shared.
that. Okay.
And so there's no identification once it's shared and gone out to the universe. Right? So to be safe, I would say each individual post should have all the identification numbers on it.
Okay, and then the other one is, because social media is not the first point of contact because people have to be friends with you in order to see your page, does it still fall under that?
They consider it first point of contact.
Yeah, your personal page, I mean, it's like your friends. So do they still consider that first point of contact?
BRE does consider it first point of contact. And keep in mind, guys, the BRE is self-funded now, so the way they're paying their salaries is these fines.
Right. But,
Better to be safe than sorry.
no, I agree.
And you never know, like we said, if it's just to your friends, hey, do your friends share your posts? Or will they take a screenshot and put it out to the interweb?
Right, I mean, I would think that they would.
Never touch it. Vinny?
Alright, so you know you can like upload it to Facebook, like 6 pictures or 5 pictures, whatever. If one of the pictures has like all like the information on there, would that suffice? Like it's a lump sum of all these 6 pictures together? You know what I'm saying?
Prefer it being in the main text rather than a photo,
Okay.
because that's really the first point of contact, because they'd have to click through.
Okay.
That's not first point if they got to click through to the second, third, fourth, or fifth picture.
Okay.
And I don't want to argue with them to say, what's first point, what's second point? Because it's a losing battle with them.
Robert, over here.
Bob?
Did your friend who was fined, did he get his hand slapped first and then got fined? Or did he just get fined?
That's fine.
No warning. You do this again.
Social media.
Now, Sandicor gives you your fine if you put something wrong in the MLS.
No fine.
Yeah, they'll slap your hand. But as Ashley said, they're self-funded. They need revenue to operate. They need to pay their salaries.
Would you recommend that if anybody does have this on that they go in and clean up? Post it, or is it?
Moving forward, well, if you have time to do it, great. If not,
But I mean, can they retroactively go back?
oh, I don't know.
Oh.
I'm not setting the rules.
No, I know.
I'm just telling you what she told me. There's fish in the web. There's fish in social media. Yeah. Wayne?
Is this the BRE who's finding this, or is
Yes.
this your competitors reporting you to the BRE,
Oh,
or
good
both?
question. So who's really turning you in? Your competitors.
Chris Spade.
The majority comes from the competitors, but they said they are actually out fishing There's one brokerage that actually hired a full-time person. All this person does is go through the social media posts of every agent in their office to make sure they're compliant. That's their job all day long. God, is that boring? Isn't it? This broker is that worried about compliance with the VRE. I saw another hand back here.
Quick question, just to clarify, so obviously if I'm posting a new listing in open house, I'm gonna put all this information, what if I'm just putting a motivational quote as a post? Do I still need to do?
Is it advertising you as a real estate agent or a
Well,
property?
it's Amy and Gary Bloom Real Estate, or however, I don't even know what the name of our page is anymore, but it says our page name is Amy and Gary Bloom Realtors.
Is it a first point of contact? So here's the rules for the law. The new law eliminates most of the exceptions and broadens the type of advertising it applies to, including business cards, stationery, advertising flyers, advertisement on television and print and electronic media. So that's very broad. It doesn't define exactly what they mean by electronic media, but they've made it so broad that they're the bureau. They can make their own decision. For sale sign, open houses, lease, rent, or directional signs, when any licensee identification information is included. So in other words, you put your name on a sign, you have to identify us as the broker, and you have to identify you as your BRE number. It does go to state that you don't have to put the broker's BRE number, but if you are getting new signs made or more signs made, I would go ahead and just slap that on there, because in 2018 is when they're going to change the law a little bit. And effective in 2018, a licensee must disclose on all solicitation materials intended to be the first point of contact with consumers, both their name and license number, and additionally the solicitation must contain the responsible broker's identity, meaning the name under which the broker is currently licensed by the California BRE and conducts business in general, or is a substantial division of the real estate firm. Okay, start here.
I see a lot of realtor Facebook business pages where they have their BRE number in their name. Does that just solve all these problems?
No, because again, you make a post like this, it could be shared by someone in your.
If you share a post, it shows who it's shared from, so it's a post with the BRE number when I know.
You'd have to have Keller Williams in there too.
Yeah, it's like Keller Williams. Like, who's going to share this? It's probably the seller. Look at my new listing, my agent I've just hired. So again, be better safe than sorry. Judy.
I get a lot of emails from people, agents. I don't know the brokers they have, I don't know the BRE. It's like a mystery. You try to find out how to get hold of them or how to evaluate them or anything. And I don't know what that is about.